Hardesty's, Deli, and Market. The only thing better is the people. And I've got a pretty good guy with me here, Dax Leone, athletic director over at Shawnee High School. Dax, we're into a new year. We've come through the holidays, got a breath of fresh air. How's it looking over there on campus?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's 2023, which makes us like, oh my goodness. But the kids and I think the staff in general, coaches, us included, got a little chance to recharge the batteries, and we came back and got off to a really great start. Girls had a big win in their tournament up there at Choctaw. The boys had a huge double overtime win last night. Wrestling's in full force. They dominated Bridge Creek the other night. Our middle school basketball's rolling. So all in all, we've been off to a great start.
It really sounds great at the high school, but you mentioned all of the different sports. Dax, you've come through your first semester as activities director at the high school. It's kind of overwhelming. You're probably just now being able to catch your breath. What is something that you learned in that first semester that you can carry forward, you know, that perhaps you didn't know before taking the job?
Well, I think a lot of it is just time management. The second part is, and I think, you know, just having a great team around you, you know, having Julia and Jamie and Coach Boyer and just everybody that works from the gate to the clock. It's just, it takes a team effort. And I think as an athletic director, you know, you don't really realize, you know, until you're in those shoes exactly what all entails in a game day. It's a full-fledged, you know, it's a day, man. You go home at night and you're wore out. And but I just the amount of people that it takes to run an athletic program, I think that's been really eye-opening because I've never, you know, been in those shoes. So it takes a lot of great people, and especially having Julia there. I mean, she's been awesome.
Well, in talking about great people today, we're privileged to have head boys basketball coach Eric Litherland, along with Jalen, Wicks, and Trenton Needham, two senior standout players. But moving into the spring, Dax, what do you foresee coming up as we look to the spring for Shawnee High School athletics, and how can the community be part of that support for you, what you're just now talking about? Because it takes volunteers and it takes community leaders as well to build state championship programs.
Yeah, I mean, just having the crowds and having people at the game, I mean, that's a huge thing for our kids and our coaches. Just like last night, we had a packed crowd, and it made the crowd was a huge difference in the game, in both games. And just trying to get, you know, the word out of when we're playing and trying to get as many people in the stands and listening and watching you guys and just supporting us. And, you know, with Coach Litherland and Coach Wells and basketball and Coach McCune, I mean, we're right in the thick of, you know, our winter sports. They'll be going into their playoffs, and then right around the corner, here comes baseball, and here comes track and everything else. So it's just an exciting time. The weather's been great, which has been awesome. You know, I was out of baseball yesterday a little bit, watching them inter-squad, and, you know, it's just, you'll be around the corner and it'll be baseball season. But it's just the spring is always just a great time of the year, and just looking forward to just watching these kids continue to compete.
Well, we love to say no better entertainment value than high school sports, and we mean it. In Shawnee, where you hear sometimes, oh, what do we do here? What do we do there? Bring your family out to games. Pick a team, just like they were maybe a pro team or something else, and follow that team. When they're in town, just come support them. Bring your little kids who might like that sport, that particular sport, or just come out because you want something to do in the afternoons. There's no better entertainment value than high school sports once you learn the kids, just like any team.
Well, I just remember growing up in this town and watching, you know, Darian Gordon and, you know, guys like that, John Hurd, and those guys were like heroes to us. And, you know, last night at the game, I saw a lot of our elementary and middle school kids there watching our high school kids. And, you know, what our brand is about is just setting that expectation and really competing and trying to make the community and our school proud. And I'm really proud of Eric being a Shawnee guy and what he's done with our basketball program, even though we're really young in some areas. And then Coach Wells, who's been here and just has dominated girls basketball for so many years. And just the way they run their programs, it's just, it's been a lot of fun to watch, and, you know, I can't wait to see what we can do into the playoffs.
And the story behind Mark McCune, if you've never met head wrestling coach Mark McCune, Andrew McCune, sorry, I know I'm more his dad's age, Andrew McCune. If you don't know his story, just stop him sometime if you can, because he's very busy. But such a beautiful story for all of our kids here in the community. Another homegrown young man.
Homegrown guy.
I'll be privileged to talk with Eric today. We're going to switch it up just a little bit. You're going to go over, and I believe you'll talk with Jalen and then Trenton, and then we'll come back and maybe close it out with Coach Eric Litherland talking some more boys basketball.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great.
Harrison Discount Pharmacy is concerned about our overall well-being. The Labyrinth,
on St. Gregory's Abbey grounds. If you're stressed, a walk in the labyrinth may help you feel better. Harrison Discount Pharmacy, a good neighbor pharmacy.
The Branding Iron Shop House and Tavern serves the best steaks in town, located on the corner of 45th and Harrison, with great food and an even better atmosphere. Stop by the Branding Iron today.
Hi, I'm Sean at Play It Again Sports, where we pay you cash for your used sporting goods. We are in need of used baseball and softball mitts. We will pay you cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports, we buy and sell new and used sports equipment.
All right, welcome back to Hardesty Grocery. I'm here with Jalen Wicks, senior basketball player here at Shawnee. And hey, Jalen, great to have you here at Hardesty. You ever come over here and eat?
Yeah, we've been over here a couple times, pick up some meat and stuff like that.
Yeah, big time place, isn't it? Yeah. Well, hey, tell the people a little bit about yourself. You're from Shawnee here, and you played football. You're playing basketball, and how long you been at it playing basketball?
I've been at it since as long as I can remember, really.
Yeah.
Been playing Shawnee my whole life, so it's been going pretty good lately.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, let's talk about that big win last night, because that was some exciting basketball, and I think back and forth game. Harding was really good, and just what was the momentum like, and what was the feel of the team there at the end when we were coming down?
We started off the day right. We had a pep assembly. Yeah. And Coach L, we had everybody come out and support.
Yeah.
We had a sophomore guard, Dayton, really step up last night.
Yeah.
He had some big clutch shots for us. And then Trent, myself, Colin, JJ, all of us. It was really a team effort.
Yeah.
And it was a great win last night.
Yeah, I know the excitement. I saw the Twitter video where you guys were dumping the water on Coach Duncan and stuff. And just the excitement. Good. It was great. And I've been at all your games, and you guys have really played some good basketball. Or maybe our wins and losses aren't where we want right now. We kind of had some peaks and valleys, but I kind of feel like you guys are just kind of getting better every time we get out.
We've been getting it going lately. We've been going hard in practice, stuff like that. So and we've had a couple games we felt like we should have came out with the dub. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's how it goes sometimes. So.
Yeah. Sometimes in basketball and athletics, it doesn't always go your way. But, going forward, what are some expectations for you guys the next couple of weeks? I know we got our tournament coming up next week and going into the playoffs. But what do you see your team? How do you feel about the last going into the last month of the season?
Well, we got to get at it in practice. We have to have competitive practices every day. We got to get our conditioning in. Yeah. Stuff like that.
You feel like you guys are playing better basketball now, and getting more comfortable with each other?
Our chemistry's going a lot recently.
Yeah.
So
because we got some young guys on the team along with a lot of seniors. So I know Zyron and a couple of freshmen that we've got in there too. So it's a young team with some experience. So it's kind of trying to find that mesh, right?
Yeah. It's been a combined effort. Zyron, Dayton, JJ, Colin, me, Trent, all of us, we've really been putting in the work recently.
Yeah, well, we're excited. We're excited to keep watching you, man. We're glad you're part of Shawnee High School Athletics and the basketball program. So we're going to go back over to Daniel and Coach Litherland, and we'll see you guys soon.
It's Sonic Good at all 4 of our Shawnee locations. Great food, great fun, the best hamburgers in town. Keeps everybody smiling. Parties or gatherings, there's room for everyone. It's always a good time, Sonic good time, at our Shawnee Sonics.
Dell Student Council gets hundreds! 2 counts of 4-H and a FA gets hundreds! The Cloud King Club gets hundreds!
Clinic Pharmacy across from the hospital has something for you. Boutique items in Shawnee. You'll find something you like inside the Clinic Pharmacy. Privileged to have Coach Eric Litherland with me, and Coach, head basketball coach, of course, for Shawnee High School Wolves. You came on board in a tough situation, but you, as I understand you and what I watch on the court, it looks like you're trying to develop a culture. Talk about that, of how you're developing the future of a winning basketball program.
We talked to our kids the other day before our last game on Monday's practice. We took in certain groups, our seniors, some of our other sophomores in a core group. Our seniors, we asked them to play a role. Maybe it's not the minutes that they're getting, but they can still have an impact long after they leave the program by challenging our kids, challenging in practice, having the energy, being positive. Don't worry about the minutes. I mean, every kid wants to play. Every kid wants to play in America. Every kid wants to score, but that's not everybody's role. And it resulted from probably one of our best practices Monday with the energy level. Nobody, and I think it bled into our game Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And after the game, nobody was upset about how many minutes they got. Nobody was upset about, and we had guys that hadn't hit shots all year hit shots.
So I'm going to cut you off right there because I want to talk about that huge win last night and what that's going to do. But you mentioned the seniors, and of course, after just talking to Jalen, I mean, and now we're going to have Trenton in just a minute. When you talk about the players and the leadership in developing culture, how important is it to have the senior class that you have right now?
Those guys have shown, I think, through the year that they're not afraid to make the plays that some kids don't want to make. Jalen will dive on the floor. Yesterday, a couple games ago against Ponca City, he had a busted eye, was bleeding, kind of got a butterfly stitch and got back out there. We've got guys like Colin Brooks who's trying to take charges, rebounding, doing a good job. You got guys like Trenton Needham, like I talked about, where Trenton a year ago wasn't even on our varsity roster. I mean, he came to an open tryout, and then last night he's being face guarded. So to see those guys transition from what they had, last year we had some experienced players. This year we have a group, the seniors, that not quite as experienced. Jalen is, Wicks is experienced, but those other guys, this is new to them, and to see him last night, Nate Simpson hits a big shot.
Yeah.
J-Rod has been doing a great job coming off, and then last night, Caden Brown, who I don't know how, he don't have a lot of points this season, had 5 huge points in the fourth quarter. And those guys, they bought in. I know it's hard to do game in, game out, but last night in the biggest stage of the year, which our next game's our biggest game of the year,
right?
They came through as a unit.
In talking about, of course, we've got Wicks and we've got Needham, but Brooks is another guy that I've just been impressed with. Each year he's been improving, and I want to tell you, I was walking over at the YMCA early the other day, and I hadn't done that in a while, and I noticed there Brooks was practicing outside of school, before school, early in the morning. He was out there alone, and then his dad comes in and offers up some things, but working outside the program, those are winners.
It's funny you say winners. It's a thing that we've been preaching these guys, making winning plays. Doesn't always result in winning games, but you've got to be willing to make winning plays to give yourself a chance to win. And you're right, Colin's one of those guys. He comes to our open gyms. He'll come in. I've heard my fellow teaching colleague, Miss Tammy Cooper, she had mentioned that she goes to the Y as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think one of your players goes there a lot before school, and it is Colin.
Yep.
Ironically, Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock when I was there for our 8th grade practice, we had 6 varsity guys there.
Oh, wow.
At 7.
Yeah. And that was for a middle school practice?
Middle school practice, but I told them they'd get some shots in.
Yeah.
And they came on their own. I pulled up at 6:50, and they were there waiting. And so I think that, going back to our culture,
right?
It's not always going to, because we're 5-8 right now, and I talked to my assistant coach about this, about how we're a couple plays away, and we could be easily 8-5.
And so let's talk about last night's game and how excited you were about how it all came together last night for you.
Well, last night, Hardy Charter's a solid team. They have athleticism. They got some guys that can shoot. Man, they made some tough shots. They made some unbelievable shots.
Double overtime.
Yeah. We probably should have won the game in regulation, and we didn't do it. They probably should have won it in overtime. They didn't do it. And then we made enough plays in double overtime. I kind of outlasted them a little bit. But it was a big win for us.
And
huge.
Coming to that culture, was it when it came down to crunch time, the seniors understood, you know what, it might be an underclassman who I've watched for the last 2 years, and he's just getting better and better and better.
True. The last couple games, we've had JJ and Dayton have had monster games for us. And like I was telling last night, with 16 seconds left, we drew up a play for Trenton to get a 3. I told him in the timeout, hey, we're going to go win this game. And we're not going to mess with the double overtime. We're going to try to get a 3 to go win the game on our home floor. But it didn't work out, and we swung the ball, but they did not hesitate one bit to swing it to Dayton. Dayton,
Just a sophomore.
Dayton, I think, had 26. He had 22 the night before. He's becoming a guy that I think the guys are starting to listen to. I mean, he leads by example. JJ's coming through, and then we have our seniors who may not be the most vocal, but they just lead by example. They hardly ever get outworked. They may not be the most talented, but they work hard. And that's just what we have. That's the way we're going to have to try to win games.
Well, and it's a team concept that Coach Litherland is bringing. And, man, we appreciate the work that you're putting in with these kids. It's really a thankless job, the number of hours that high school coaches put in all the time. And, man, you've been in it a long time. And we're looking forward to a state championship brought to Shawnee High School basketball. It's something we haven't seen. We want it to happen.
I'm very fortunate.
Not this year, maybe not this year, but that's what it takes is for those 7th graders to see those varsity players care enough and they see what's in front of them.
I also like to give a shout. My assistant coach and the coaches that I have do a great job. Coach Duncan is my assistant coach, and he's offering a ton of information. And I mean, us head coaches are only usually as good as our staff, and I think he does a great job. So that's
a shout out he's got to give. All right, we're going to go back over, and Dax has Trenton Needham. Can't wait to hear what that young man has to say.
For over 50 years, Fred's Tire and Battery has served Central Oklahoma with tires, batteries, and service for cars, trucks, and tractors. Friendly and affordable, with 2 locations in Shawnee. Fred's Tire and Battery, a name you can trust.
Do you love swimming? SHS Swim is always looking for the next state champion. Find SHS Swim on Facebook and Instagram. Watch SHS Swim live on Shawnee CTV.
We always ask for Action Physical Therapy, and we always recommend it to our friends. When we're in the orthopedic doctor's office, they always give us the option. Well, you need physical therapy. Do you have a choice of where you want to go? And we always ask for Action because we know Katie and Andy Landys, and we trust the service and the care that we're going to get there.
I asked for Action.
All right, I'm here with Trenton Needham. Hey, welcome to Hardesty's, man. You said this is the first time you've been here,
First
man.
time, yeah.
What do you think so far?
I mean, it's nice. I think I need to start coming here for once more.
Hey, it's right around the corner from the high school, so you come over here and get you a sandwich and get back for practice. But hey, Trent, talk a little bit about that game last night. Double overtime win, homecoming, got a huge crowd. I mean, how exciting was that for you guys?
It was great. I mean, the crowd was in it. Every time someone shot, the whole arena was silent, and then the crowd blew up if it went in. And we went a double overtime off a buzzer beater. It was a long game.
Yeah.
Came out with the dub though. So
hey, you can't beat when you come out with a win. But the season has started. We kind of started off a little bit slow, maybe not playing our best basketball. But how do you feel like you guys are meshing, and how do you feel like going forward you guys can keep continuing to improve as a team?
Yeah, we just got our first back-to-back win, so we're really coming together as a team. And at the beginning of the season, we had a lot of new guys that didn't have a lot of experience. Right. So we're starting to fall in place now, and our chemistry's up, and we're just doing good. Yeah.
Well, I talked to Zyron a little bit after the game last night, one of our freshman players, and he said, man, practice has been hard. And I said, well, when practice is hard, the games are supposed to be easier. The practice is hard. So talk a little bit about Coach L and Coach Duncan and how they're running practice and some of the stuff they're putting you guys through.
They've done really good, really, because it's a lot of competitive stuff, but we got the conditioning, and we're getting a lot of shots in and stuff like that, staying late, and they open the gym early, so it's just really good all around.
Yeah, I know. I see you guys in there I see you guys in there all the time, putting in the extra shots and stuff. But going into the last month of the season, and now that you guys are starting to kind of catch your groove, do you feel like just your best basketball is ahead of you?
Yeah, we're just getting started, really. Yeah, and people are starting to fall in place, and their roles are getting changed, but getting used to it. So
So how long have you been playing basketball, man? Your whole life?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I started really young. Yeah. It was just like a family thing.
Yeah, and it's just it's been a passion.
It's been a passion.
I know, kind of shooting's kind of been your forte. A really good shooter, 3-point shooter. But last night, man, you're D'ing it up. You're in there mixing it up and stuff. So does that defense? Is that just something you've gotten a little bit better, more comfortable doing this year? Because I've seen you in there.
It's easy when the offense is going good. The defense is going to go good. Last night was a tough game. We knew they were a really good opponent. So had to be there.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm glad you made it down to Hardesty so you can come back and get you some food now that you know. But hey, best of luck the rest of this year, and we look forward to following you. We're going to go back with Daniel and Coach L, and we'll see you guys there in a little bit.
For 25 years, Eric's has served you and your family for all your prescription needs. Eric and his staff love the community and love seeing you in the store conveniently located on North Kickapoo. Make your day brighter by visiting Eric's today. Do you want an easy car buying experience? Castor Keys on Harrison. No hidden fees, no price gimmicks. Castor Key Auto Mart for a fair and convenient car buying experience. Hardesty Meats.
A real honest-to-God butcher shop since 1932.
Pure quality.
This is absolute best place to get meat.
I'm so lucky to have found this spot.
Hardesty Meats, new location.
When we talk about culture, we got to talk about the kids. And Dax, I don't know how you produce such great kids like Jalen and Trenton. Way to go, man!
Well, hey, a lot of that comes from the coaches and what they're about. You hire good coaches, it makes you look like a good AD. So no, our kids and our coaches, they work extremely hard. We see them every day, and like I've said before, man, I'm proud to watch them, man. I just biggest fulfillment as an AD is watching, like last night, watching us win that double overtime game. And I went up to Coach after, had to give some love. And it just it was exciting, man. I see what these guys go through, and I know the amount of time they put in. So it's really exciting.
Well, I see it in your eyes, man. You're back there last night, and Coach Litherland, talk a little bit about Jalen and Trenton and what that means for games like last night for you.
When you get in the trenches with those guys, you know that they're gonna give you everything they got. And better yet, when you have to make decisions, they roll with it. They trust you, and that's the biggest thing I think with when you have a roster of 8 seniors, you got to have that, because there's just so many of them. They got to have that trust, and those two guys, Jalen plays hard. Trenton's been shooting the ball really well this year.
So both of them have stories. First of all, when you step out there and like we encourage you to come. There's going to be a great basketball tournament next week. Some of the top players in the state are going to be right here in our auditorium. But come and watch the early games and watch our boys come out and compete against some of the best in the state. When you watch them, you're going to see Jalen, first of all, natural athlete. I mean, in the games that I've watched over the last couple of years, probably the best athlete that we have on the squad right now, from maturity level all the way to what he does. And as you mentioned, he doesn't mind doing the dirty work. But Trenton Needham wasn't always like that. And this year I made the statement that anything we get from Trenton, this was game 1, is a bonus. But it has not worked out that way. Trenton has come on strong. And Coach, he had a really interesting early beginning with you, and I'd like you to tell that story.
Yeah, a year ago he was in my classroom. And we were going to have our open tryouts in September, and he just looked up to me and goes, "Hey, Coach, I'll be there." I'm like, okay, why? You're a math guy, but you're not, because I'm a hooper. I was like, okay, Trenton, we'll see you there, buddy.
Yeah.
And then we kept him because you could just kind of see that the kid had a little bit of basketball IQ with him and had a smoothness about his shot. And he's gone from last year, I think he averaged 1.5 points in the games he got in, so he's almost averaging 10.
Yeah.
So like the improvement, obviously his role's changed a little bit, minutes have changed, but he puts in the work. He does.
And that's so important, Dax. Eric and I talked a little bit about culture. That's something you're trying to develop throughout the entire athletic department. Talk a little bit about that and the culture that Coach Litherland's helping to get back some of, and what you want to see culturally for Shawnee High School athletics.
Yeah, I think, and we talk a lot about our brand. I know as a coaching staff, we have our meetings, our brand is important, and that goes from how we handle ourselves in the classroom to what we're doing in the community to how we handle ourselves in tough situations. And I see these guys every day because my office is right there in the gym. So I see their practices and I see the things that they go through. But developing that is it's a mentality and it's an expectation. And I think it starts at the top and it works its way down to your players. And I feel like our coaches and Coach Eric and I both graduate from Shawnee, so it's even more. we got a little bit skin in the game.
8 family people who have graduated from Shawnee.
And Coach McCune graduated from here, and Coach Paxton, and Coach Merrill, and Coach Jordan, and you got a lot of Shawnee people that are actually, that are running your programs right now. So it means a little bit more to us, and we want to put our best foot forward and do what's best for these kids, and we got a big job ahead of us, but I feel like we're really making some strides.
I do too. I'm so excited about the outlook for Shawnee High School athletics, and we are sincere when we say you fall in love with teams that you follow, and in our community, just pick a team that you want to follow, whether it be softball, volleyball, basketball, baseball, swimming. Just pick a team, because if you consistently go with your kids, you're going to know the kids who are competing, and everybody will have a good time. You'll fall in love with these guys and with the kids that they lead. Coach Litherland, give your best shout out to encourage people to come out to next week's tournament.
Hey, we got some of the best teams in the state. Literally, there'll be top 10 matchups all over the place. You don't even have to wait till Friday or Saturday. They're going to be there opening night. Probably have some college coaches in attendance. Bar short of some state tournament brackets or tournament champions, it'll be one of the best tournaments in the state.
And it's got state appeal already, as the big times coming in. Oklahoma City stations are coming in.
Yeah.
And Dax, you kind of had a hand in making that happen. You think that's important for us?
I do. I think our tournament, it speaks for itself. And I know when we put the bracket together, we were looking at Coach and we were like, man, this is going to be some bracket. But, you got Cox 3 doing the finals. Coach said it, there's going to be college coaches there, and it probably is the best boys tournament in the state. Top 5 teams all across, and it's just going to make us better. We'll get out there and compete, and going down forward, it's about playing your best basketball at the end, and playing good people just makes you. And the girls' side is just as good. So we want to promote our teams and our tournament, and it's really, really exciting what's coming on the tournament.
And of course, our Shawnee CTV crew, as good as any crew in the state, they'll
be
there following the Wolves. You'll get the Wolves games on Saturdays. And it'll be right alongside Cox, because we're going for the championship. We only talk about championships on this show.
Awesome. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Remember, Shawnee, together we build community, one season at a time.